Well, it's a bit of some bushfires around lately. There's a big one on the freeway the other day and couldn't get to work. I don't know if this is somewhere close or the wind's picked up and we've had a bit of thunderstorm, so I don't know if there's a fire out that way a bit. But yeah, just starting to do a bit of work here. Made a little garden bed, sort of bay area for the bins to sit on the driveway here. And then I just started doing the shed, getting the shed up. Well, I wouldn't say up, but I just started making a bit of little edge in here. So I'll spread this over so it's like a little car park area. Just sort of laying up for the shed. Just at the moment just moving all the stuff down there so it's up here ready to be installed. Nothing too crazy. Not really going to do much of a shed build, but I'll just give an overview of how I did it. I'm just doing like the manual stairs from Best Sheds. So you just basically measure. There's like a gap. It was about 216 from the edge of the concrete. Sort of put a chalk line down, and that's sort of your inside wall. So this would be the post. This is your rafter. You got to bolt that together. I think there's 5 or 4 of them. And then it says to build this wall first and sit that wall up, and then build that wall, sit that wall up, and then bolt this basically between there. So you know, it's just started getting things started on this. But today I'm trying to pull that shed, bring it up here, and then we'll see how we go after that. And I've also got to spread this sort of along the back here. I had it done before, but you know, we had all that flood in, so it's all sort of falling out and weeds are starting to grow in it. So I'll clean this out and I'll just level this so I can get the retaining wall block sort of slapped down in here, and then I can get the shed up. Problem doing this sort of stuff out here, you get, there's always some sort of wasp or something that's going to build a nest underwear. Been stung by these guys a few times moving stuff. They hurt a bit. Well, I just bought the shed up here. I was actually looking at drawings now and I got to work out what goes where, because it's like, pretty sure these are the uprights. These must be the channels for the side. These are the rafters, like the long ones in here. But I've got a lot more than I need, because I need sort of 8 rafters for, you know, 4 each side, and I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 of them. So I've really got to go through and figure out what goes what in the kit and what goes where, and sort of just make a little list so I know what's going on. So I basically just sort of stuffed around with this. You can sort of use the plates and work out, you know, that goes over that, and that sort of lines up with there, because the part number is all the same. It just says C15 015, and there's different lengths for each one, and the drawings aren't that good. Looks like it's like a universal drawing, because some of the drawings just didn't make sense on my plan. But anyway, so after I've sort of got this in place, it's starting to rain now, so I'll probably just finish up now. At least I got everything up and I got a little start, and just got to work out what goes where, and then yeah, I'll start building the wall over there, and slowly got to build it, put it all together. So building the Best Shed, I'll sort of do a quick video on how I did it. Nothing too crazy. This is sort of stage 1. Got the slab down. I didn't do the slab, a local contractor did it. I've got my conduits here for electrical. Run them up through here at some point. I'm not going to do it right now. I will probably put solar on the roof here, because it's a pretty good, You know, got plenty of sun here, and I'll probably get some water in as well. I wouldn't mind like a little kitchenette at the back corner here, because my door's going to be about there. I wouldn't mind just a little kitchenette, you know, sort of maybe a toilet, little shower thing. So if I start renovating the house, I can have a little place to sort of stay through the week. So yeah, it's coming down now, so I'll probably just clean up my tools, pack the tractor away, and yeah, get back to it later. So this is, yeah, sort of day one. Haven't really done a lot, figuring stuff out. So it was a good day after work, so I figured I would just come out and figure out a bit more what goes where. So basically I thought I had extra beams, but I don't. My shed, I'm guessing because it's like an 11 degree pitch, I've got like a double column in the two middle ones. So these two here are double, and I've just been bolting up the haunch brackets for this wall. So basically they just clip in there, not too hard to really figure out. The holes line up, and I'm just putting the bolts in sort of finger tight. And then these wall girts, so far it's about 3 for the length of the wall. I might have to do a little bit of trimming, I'm not too sure, but I'm pretty sure you're meant to have 10mm overlap as they sit. I think these are 4 meters long, so it's about 40 centimeters overlap, they say, to do. So I can probably just overlap it, get it to work. But there's 2 different sizes. I don't know why there's 2 different sizes, but I've got to figure that out. And I think there's a row down the bottom, a row in the middle, and I think these go up the top somehow. I've got to figure that out as well. So that's all I'm sort of doing this afternoon. And then obviously I've got to do the same for this side. So the plan is to build both walls, then sit them up, and sit that one up, and then the purlins sort of go between them, which are those 2 there. And the same thing, you've got obviously got 6 across, no, 8, no, 6 across. The first one's just, yeah, the first front and rear single, and the 2 middle ones are double. So I guess, yeah, the strength wise, I don't know why that is, but every other shed I've looked at, they don't have that, but mine does. So anyway, we'll do this for this afternoon, and that will probably be about it. Ready to go. Basically got to do the same thing over there. Won't really film that. Well, in true fashion, every time I seem to do some outside work, it generally rains. So I've basically lined up where everything had to go, and I was going to try and put the walls up this weekend, but yeah, due to the rain I might not be able to. I'll see how it goes. So I made some progress on the weekend, a couple hours work. Built one wall, as you can see. Wasn't too bad to do. So the top sections here, they're the eave girts. These were 4 meters long. I had to trim off, it's in the drawings, I had to make them, basically cut them here for each base spacing. There's about 1 mil difference between the middle one and the outside end ones, and that's how that sort of works. And then the wall girts, it's basically 3 of them. just screwed sort of flush with the edge of that. 1, 2, 3. My one was, you draw a line at about 200 and then the top sits there. Then it was 933 to that line, 933 to that line, and I basically just put that line on each one, and yeah, just basically, you know, lined it up and screwed it down. The only thing is, they do look pretty straight, but when you look from a distance, because this was on that chalk line, like these these what are they called, columns are on the chalk line, so they should all be pretty straight. Might not pick it up in the camera, but there's like a little bit of bowing in it. So what I was gonna do is basically just keep this line here and the end one, and then unscrew the 2 middle ones and run a string line straight across from that point to that point, and then just bring these girts just to that string line and then screw it down again. I think it would look a bit straighter, like just with when because the sheets got to go basically on here, and when you screw the sheets down, they got to follow that line, and it might be a little bit of a, it probably won't even see it, but just me being me, I want it as straight as possible. And I measured the X, like from that point to this point and that point to this point here, and I was only about 4 or 5 mil out, so which I was about 4 or 5 mil out with my slab, so maybe that's why. So I'm pretty sure there shouldn't be much of a drama with it going up. And also when I built these, I sort of built one and I put a little triangle for my long point, which is this would be the longest point, like the most outer one. From there to there, I think there was a measurement of whatever it was, which is that chalk line to that chalk line, which is inner wall line. So I basically lined that up there. I've got another one wherever it was here in the middle where I joined the 2 columns together, and then I had another line down here, so I just basically just put them on that, lined all those lines up so they'll be exactly the same, and that's how I basically built these. And then you just put a tech screw in, and then you just put the bolts in. I just got to nip these bolts up so that position stays, but I'm probably going to lay that back down in that position and then nip it up, so it's because it did sink in a little bit when I moved it. So basically got to do the same thing what I've done here to this wall, and then sit this wall up, sit that wall up, and then put the rafters on. I might be able to do it this weekend. I'll see how it goes. A little bit of rain, but anyway, it's the work in progress. But oh, and also they give you like a box of, you know, bolts and screws, and I basically just bought this box from Bunnings just so I could leave it near where I'm working, and all my stuff is basically in here now, just keeping dry. So that was a pretty good idea. And I'm just going to move all the other stuff that's down there, bring it up here. I've got my sheets over there in the field, I've got to bring them over here just so everything's sort of close to the job site, and I'll probably do that and keep going. So yeah, that's basically how I built the wall. I tried with 2 people to pick it up, and it's a little bit heavy, so I probably really need 3 or 4 people to help lift this up. So I just don't have people here at the moment. But yeah, there's the wall done, rafters done, and I just basically got to build that there, and then flip that side up, and then these rafters just basically bolt together. So see how that goes. Oh, and if you do have the double, I've got double columns in my 2 centers. It doesn't really show you much in the drawings on the instruction video, but you got to put these in the center, and the foot, what I guess I've got the base brackets, I put them on the outside, but I've got to take them off and put them on the inside here. So that's a little change I've got to do, but there's only really these 2. I sort of did them already over there. But yeah, so if you've got the double columns, you've got to put these foot brackets in the middle there, not, you know, on the outside. So a quick little progress video. Basically got most of it up now. Ended up hiring a little scissor lift, purely because sort of this, it was alright to lift them up. So you built this on the ground, lift it up, prop it on each side, That's pretty easy, same as the other side. And when you got to sort of lift these up, depends on how big your shed is. Had sort of 2 people sort of lifting up, walking up a ladder, lifting it and trying to get it in place. But the thing is, this was just teetering back and forth, so we had to sort of prop it up in the interim while trying to put this rear, or the back wall mullion in place, which basically just goes, you know, a chalk line off the edge here, off the edge of that, because these sit basically there flush with the wall. So that looks like that. Continues over there, and then that obviously supports that structure. And then basically the middle ones were double, so basically just put it on the cherry picker, or the scissor lift, sorry, and just basically just go up, and you can sort of just bolt them there, bolt them on the other side. Made it a lot easier. So definitely hire one of these. I did hire it for a week, so that was about 800 bucks in hire. That was with the plant trailer. If you have a plant trailer, it might be a few $100 cheaper. But yeah, so I'm just basically putting up the roof purlins up there and just screwing them in. So it was a handy trick what they said, to screw little screws, so they basically just sit in there, then you just screw them down. So that's pretty much what I'm doing now. And then I'll look at building the front wall. So the front wall's got 2 mullions there and a header across. So I'll have to watch a video on that one and figure that out later on. But yeah, now I'm just putting these up and then seeing how that goes. So yeah, it's looking like a shed now. So they're all now the roof, what they call the roof girts. You got to put 2 in these as well. I only put 1 in. I just got to change that one. So I only put 1 in each side, but I got to actually had to go back around and put 2, an extra 1 in each. Right there and there. Had to put an extra 1 in each what they called rafter. So 2 each one, and obviously 4 in the double ones in the middle there. So that's done. Now I just got to start building this front wall and the rear wall. So we have the end walls here with the end wall girts. Basically just, you put like a little screw in roughly where the it's got to go, and I just put 1 screw in. Then I do the other side, put 1 screw in on this side, and I just use the clamp it, screw it in. Then I grab the level, and I just sort of put the level on that, make sure it's level. Then I put about 4 screws sort of through the back there. So that wasn't too bad, but so we're getting there. I just gotta do the front wall, and basically I've got the front mullion screwed into position. I did the front one a lot better than the back one. It's basically, you put, probably can't see from there, but you put 5 screws straight through that, and it basically just sits, I don't really like it, it sort of just sits in between the nuts and bolts on the apex bracket. and I haven't bolted to the floor yet, but I just got to level it, bolt it to the floor, same as the other one. It's in line with the roof sheets. And then now I've also got there's two more that go where the roller door sits, which is here and here. I've sort of clamped them into position and marking out up the top, because you've got to cut it out a bit, because it's got to sit flat on this rafter. And I was trying to measure it, so it's pretty tricky because I got these little driveway drops, and I saw one video and it said to offset the bracket, but I don't really like how it's sitting like that. So what I'll do is I'll just keep it the normal way, and I'll probably get some grout, and I'll just grout under here, so it's all sort of, you know, sitting flush, it's not in the air. But what I did with that, I figured out these are the headers. There was two beams here and they were the same size I needed. It's kind of annoying how nothing's really labelled in the description what they're for, but obviously there's two of these, and they go, I think they're 27, what are they, 2720. So basically that's where, you know, my roller door has to sit, because my roller door's 2772. So you got, so that sort of goes in between here. So what I did, you meant to measure, but what I did, I just got my laser level, lined the laser up with the edge of this, and just basically put a mark where that one's sitting, and did the same thing here, put the laser there and put a mark where that's going to sit. Can't really see the mark, maybe you can. And then so therefore all I got to do now is just level it to the bottom, bolt it in. Well, first I got to cut it out a bit, which is pretty easy. I've sort of marked this one up. Where I've got to cut it, and that'll be today's job. And then I'll just do these apex braces as well, which I've got knee braces, which are the 1810s, and the apex braces, which are these ones. I'm still confused whether I've got to put 2 in and 2 in here. I've got enough to do 2, so I'm pretty sure I have to do 2, but it doesn't actually say anywhere on how to actually do it. And the video that they've got on their sheds on their YouTube channel only has 1 for about 2 seconds. It's got a little photo of it. So I wish they had some sort of photos of how stuff goes together. That's part of the reason why I'm making these videos, so you can sort of, I don't know, if you're not too sure, never done it before, this is basically what I did. So, and it came up pretty good. So it's looking pretty good so far. Let's get this front wall up and put these braces in, and then the whole frame is basically done. And as you can see, there's not much metal left to go up there. This was only about there, but I cut this, didn't have to cut it because as you can see, you know, the roof sheets are going to come up over it anyway, so there's a ridge cap on it. So the other one I didn't cut, but it's obviously plenty clear. So anyway, you don't really have to cut that, because keep in mind you got about 60 odd mil of this to come up, so the roof sheets will be well over that anyway. So I trimmed like 1 inch of it, but didn't have to do that. So I just went around and put a bit of cold gow and anywhere that I cut, just so it doesn't rust. But yeah, it's getting there. So that was easy with the laser level. I basically put that in position where it was going to go. Laser leveled line up there, and I'm pretty much level there, so I just got to basically hold that into there, which is pretty much level. And I got my gap there, and then these sit I think 2.5 high, so I got to put a I think an M-wall girt, screw that down. Then yeah, the roller door basically just sits in that gap. So that was a good little thing last night, nice and level. Roller door beams bolted in, and I got the front mullion bolted down as well. And what I did, I just marked, I'll probably come out with the laser again tonight to get these, because there's so many, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 gaps. I want to get the laser. I've marked where they've got to go at 200, 1108, 1108, and 2.5 meters for the roller door header. And I want to sort of probably get the laser just to laser this at night to get this perfectly straight. So I've been working most of the day and it's pretty hot, so I'll probably come back at night when it's a bit dark, get the laser out, laser these in, mark them up, and probably fit them off tomorrow. So then pretty much all the framework is done after that. Oh sorry, the apex bracing, I just got to do the apex bracing to these things. So I think I just got to cut this little sort of lip out, and then that slips in the middle of that gap. So I'll do that probably tomorrow as well. Then after that, the whole frame is pretty much done. So yeah, getting there. Probably can't see a lot, but just using the laser to mark those lines here and here for the roller door, and for the wall girts I got to go in here. So wait till it gets a bit dark and then mark away. I'll finish that in the morning. Get in there. I even started to put a few sheets on yesterday just for the hell of it. I was moving them over closer and I thought I'll chuck a few on, but bit of a stuff up because that time of day I couldn't tell what was what, the color side, because the inside color is like a grey and this is like an off-white grey that I chose, and I installed 4 the wrong way. So I'll put these down the back because the hole's on the wrong side now. After it gets some silicone and silicone up the holes that aren't going to line up, and restart basically down here. So I put a string line and that will a screw down the end, and ran a string line sort of from this screw all the way down there. So I'll basically just tuck the sheet in, screw it down, and I found that you just really got to do the top one and this sort of second one, and I'll do that at the end. I'll get the string line again, put it right in the corner there that I've got here, and run the string line all the way to the end, and then just use that as a line and get that screw nice and straight. So yeah, and then I'm just cutting up these little end wall girts, screwed these in off my laser line from last night, and that's for the garage door header. These are for the wall, so I just got to cut these up, and they basically go, you know, gonna wrestle them into there and down the bottom on each section. So that's what I'm doing now. So I've got all the front wall girts in now. So the middle section made it pretty easy when I got the laser out and just lasered them all on. So these face the back, and obviously just screwing through the front here. So that's the middle one. The end one's just a little bit shorter. Not too hard to do. So I made that mark. My plan said 2.5 meters, 2500. from the ground, but I just used my laser to get them the same height and basically just screwed it in. And that was pretty much, these beams I didn't have to cut because they were pretty much that size designed for it. It took me a while to figure out which ones to use, because in the video they sort of use one of these purlins sort of across the whole thing. But yeah, that's good. The front's wall's all done. All I've got to do now is bolt, I would say figure out how to bolt these up, the roller doors. So I don't know whether they go that way or that way. I don't know yet. I've got to figure that out. There's not a lot of instruction on the actual roller door. And yeah, I was just doing the apex bracing. So for this one I've had to cut it out like that, and I'll show you how that's going to go up. I haven't finished cutting that one. So I just sort of cut the lip on that one like this, and this basically slots up back to back with this one in the middle there. So basically what I've done, so they're cut back to back. It's going to slot in that gap there and there. Got my center mark, line that up with the center here, and I'm just going to lift it up and then use this strap to sort of lock it into place, and then screw it in, and then that's it, done. Well, that worked pretty good. Just had to line the little gap up, slot it in, pulled that tight, and then yeah, just sort of lined up the center with the center of that, and then just a few tech screws on the side, done. So with the knee brace, sort of goes off the column to the rafter. I got to do the same thing. I got to cut the edge, so I got to cut that section out, section down here, section there, and make it back to back. And that will obviously go in that little slit there, and you know, bolt it down across the edge here. So I'll do that now, and then pretty much my apex and knee brace. So here's my what's it called, knee brace here. So I've cut both sides, gave it a quick file, bit of cold gel paint. I'm going to do the same thing where I'm just going to lift it up, strap it in place with the strap, and then just screw it in to the corner here at that mark that I made. Probably have to cut this bottom one flat so it actually sits in where it's got to sit. Same up there, it's just sticking out a bit, so I'm gonna have to cut that flat in line with this so that, you know, sits in there properly. Oh well, take it out and do it again. So yeah, that's fitting a lot better now. So right on that line that up, screw it in. It's a lot better there too. Well, there you have it. Knee brace in. All I've got to do now is do a fly brace on the top there, and another fly brace up the top there, and then the bracing is pretty much done. Well, I haven't done the rest of them because I ran out of grinder discs, and yeah, got to get a couple more of them, but that's basically all I'll do. I'm not going to film every single one. So the frame is pretty much up. Quick little job over there, and that's it, done. So with the fly bracing, they just give you like a reel of the strapping. So I'm just going to measure what I need here. Cut 2 lengths because it's the same at that end. I don't actually have any of the wall bracing on my plans, so I don't have to do it, but I've got a bit left, so I was just going to put maybe a brace there and maybe a brace on this side, just if I've got enough. So I'll see how I go. I'll at least sort of put something in there, or you can do it on the roof, but yeah, mine doesn't actually say it, so I'm just going to put the fly bracing on, which my plans say to do, and maybe an X over there, and maybe one on the back side as well, but we'll see how we go. There, so what I did, I just put the outside one in to there, and with the second one I put in, I used that to torque it down. Got it. That was actually through the double section there, so it was a bit hard, but yeah, nice and taut. I wouldn't say it's a pretty strap. I wish they just gave you like a metal strap to screw on there. That would look a lot better, but you know, it's doing the job, I guess. There you go. So now just got to finish off the bracing, and this is done. Wasn't too bad. You know, you sort of need a few people, but end of the day, it's just a matter of building this on the ground and then lifting it up, get a scissor lift, you just sit it on there, go up, bolt each side down, and then use the center ones here as a brace, and you try and brace something for the first one. So I started from the back. I probably could have had, you know, sort of a prop down here and out the back, sort of holding that straight while I put this rear pole in. But anyway, I didn't do that, but I'll do it next time. But yeah, overall the shed's pretty much, or the frame is pretty much done. Just got to hang the roller doors and do the sheeting now, and obviously I'll fit it out with lights and power. I'm a Sparky, so I'll make it look pretty good. And the only other issue I had was lifting. I had my conduits here to come up for power, like they'll clear of that, but when you're lifting it on, they were just too high, so I had to cut them down so I could actually, like, that would actually roll over there. But yeah, wasn't overly too hard. Yeah, the frame's pretty much done. I've got to put the roller doors on, finish off the sheeting. I just started it. I sort of fucked up a bit because I put the wrong colour. They look the same. Now you can tell they're different. That was a bit of a stuff up. But apart from that, the whole shed's up. Pretty good. Happy with it so far. So I'll leave this video here, and I'll do a part 2 of all the sheeting and the roll doors. And yeah, I'll leave it there.